nightly conversation. America at Night with McGraw Millhaven.
All right, let's try this again. Bill on the road joins us every Thursday, except on nights when I'm suffering from a sinus infection. So he missed last week. So, Bill Cleveland, you better be twice as good this week since you were off last week.
Oh, boy, I'm in big trouble then. you want to call somebody else?
You made it to the text line. Doug in Wisconsin texts in, Bill the Traveler reminds me of Clark Griswold and his travel stories. The one about getting locked out of his hotel room weeks ago has me still laughing. So, well, Bill in Wisconsin is a fan of yours.
Just here for the pleasure of all of your listeners.
That was actually.
And I don't put my grandma on the roof of the car though, in case anybody's wondering.
All right, fair enough. So you went to visit the birthplace of pickleball.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this, but I've been playing pickleball for, I don't know, maybe 15 years, something like that. And when I first started playing pickleball, no one knew what the heck pickleball was. And you'd go to, a tennis court and chalk down some lines, and then somebody would bring along like a weight or something to like pull down on the tennis net, which I'm sure the tennis players loved, and you'd play pickleball. And so I've been playing for a really long time. And so now as I look and, I see just, it's so crazy. There's, they're making movies about pickleball, and it's all kinds of, it's not just older people playing, you got young people. I mean, it's just crazy to see what it's grown into. And so I mentioned that I played pickleball today, and I thought, I'm going to talk to McGraw about the birthplace of pickleball. I don't know if you play or you know anything about it, but it's a pretty interesting story.
All right, well, hold on a second. Why 15 years ago, before it was a thing, did you get into pickleball?
Well, I was a former badminton player. And so I loved playing badminton. I play with a group on Friday nights, and one night somebody brought in a pickleball net, and we started playing pickleball for maybe 30 minutes before we started playing badminton. And then eventually, as the weeks went on, more and more people started going down to the other end of the gym and were playing pickleball, and fewer people were playing badminton, to the point where we had no more badminton players. And that's kind of how I got into it. But a lot of people don't know, McGraw. Pickleball has been around since 1965. It has been around a long time, and it all goes back to Bainbridge Island, Washington. So this is an island that is about, I would say, a 20, 30-minute ferry ride from Seattle. And so you take the ferry, you go over there, and I actually got to play pickleball on the original pickleball courts, which to me was kind of cool. But the story kind of goes back in 1965. There were these three gentlemen. It was Bill Bell, Barney McCallum, and Joel Pritchard. And these were guys that lived on the island, and they would, I believe it would have been in summertime when they would, be hanging out there, and they'd have their families, and they liked playing badminton. And so they rigged up this badminton court, just like an asphalt surface outside of one of the guys' homes. They all kind of lived nearby. And so they'd come over, and they would play badminton in the summer. Well, one summer, it would have been 1965, that they went back to the house there, and they couldn't find the badminton equipment. And so what they had was they had a net, and they had a wiffle ball, and one of the guys went in the garage and had some old plywood or something like that and cut out some paddles, okay? And so they kind of made up their own game right there on what used to be their badminton court. And then what happened was, they kind of would make up all these rules, and then other people around the neighborhood and eventually around the island started playing this game of pickleball. And in the 70s, early 70s, what they did was they packaged this game for schools, like for PE, for gym class. And I was told I actually played pickleball when I was in, like third grade or something like that, but I don't remember. And so yeah, so it started in the gym classes, and then probably I would say mid '90s, something like that. It really kind of took off in the senior citizen communities, if you will. And it's just grown and grown and grown. So yeah, now when you look out on the courts, I always get, because when I started playing McGraw, I was playing with people who were, good God, 20, 30 years older than me. I was really the young guy out there. And now if you go to, pretty much any city park in the country, you're going to see a lot of young people playing pickleball too. So it's become very, very popular.
All right, hold on a second here. I thought it was just like tennis, the same rules as tennis, but just
No.
a different ball and a different racket.
No, so it's a combination. If I had to explain it, I would say it's a combination of tennis, ping pong, and badminton. Of those three sports, tennis is actually would be like number third on the list. It's actually closer to ping pong than it is to tennis. And so, yeah, it's kind of funny because I will play with a lot of former tennis players, and you can always tell when a tennis player is playing because they go through all the motions the way a tennis player would. It's like, nope, nope, it is a different sport. And once they figure it out, they're usually very good players. And so yeah, so it's closer to, I would say, like you're standing on a gigantic ping pong table. A lot of just those ping pong type shots back and forth if you're playing correctly.
Why do they call it pickleball? The ball's not a pickle. The pickle's not round.
So this is something that when I first heard this, the story was that it was named after the dog that couple that one of the couples owned, that one of the inventors owned. And so the ball apparently would, go away, and their dog, who was named Pickles, would chase after it. And initially I said, oh, that's stupid. It's a cute story, but it can't possibly be real. But then I went to Bainbridge Island, and I started talking to people that knew these guys and actually really knew the story, and they said, no, it actually is true. When it first started, it didn't have a name. It was just something that they played. And then the dog came around a couple of years after they had invented their little game and would chase after the ball. And the dog was named Pickles, so they called it pickleball.
How do you score? Is it 1 point? Is it 15? Is it 30? Love? How does that work?
Oh, McGraw, this is the toughest, most convoluted part of pickleball. If you have to try to teach a new player how to play pickleball, scoring will absolutely drive you insane. You play to 11, but it is I can't even explain it to you over the phone how to do how to score. But essentially what happens is one team, usually you play doubles, right? So one team will serve, and they get one opportunity to score a point, and then the other team gets to play, but both players then get to serve, and then it'll come back, and then both players. But on the first serve, it's just one person. So it is very tough just to show how to score on the radio.
Do you have to serve to score? Do you have to serve to score?
Yes, sir.
In the old volleyball rules?
Correct. You have to be serving. I do play occasionally with some groups that do what we call rally scoring, which kind of speeds up the game.
Yeah.
And for anybody listening that plays pickleball, that's a great. If you're in a group where you really don't like some of the people that are playing, do that rally scoring, and then the games go super quick, and then you can get on to the next game. But yeah, so you can do either way, but most people do the original scoring.
Interesting. Now, the controversy is there's a lot of controversy with it too, isn't there?
Well, I mean, isn't there controversy with anything that's growing as rapidly? Pickleball, I believe, is still the fastest growing sport in the United States. The numbers are, I mean, I'm telling you, I've been playing this so long. I mean, I'm serious. No one knew what pickleball was. I would tell people I'd play pickleball, and they would look at me like I had three heads. Like, what you do what? And now it's everywhere. And I'll be honest, McGraw, there are a lot of days when I'll go to a park or I'll go whatever and meet up with some friends and play. And I wish nobody knew about it. I wish it was like the old days. I don't even mind putting some chalk down on a tennis court to play. It's gotten kind of crazy. And I mean, you've seen either there's a movie coming out or there's about to come out. I think Ben Stiller might be in it. And there's professional pickleball, and it's crazy now. But I don't know what other controversy you mean.
Well, I've heard that like the ping of the ball with the racket drive neighborhoods crazy, apartment complexes crazy, and you can't play it after 9 o'clock, and the pickleballers want to go all night, and the people are trying to sleep, and all that type of stuff.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. So a couple of things. So first of all, it is a paddle. It is not a racket. A pickleball player. Any pickleball players listening now are screaming at the radio. Give them a break, folks. Give them a break. It's called a paddle. You call it a paddle. The sound, yes. So the sound can be really annoying if you do not play pickleball or you're not around pickleball. They are working on some pickleballs that are less noisy. But seriously, the demand for courts is so huge all over the country that some of these municipalities are putting courts in without kind of thinking where they go. So you really don't want to put new pickleball courts in, really close to a subdivision where someone's going to hear it, late at night, because it is much louder than tennis. I mean, you don't really hear anything with tennis other than somebody grunting, I suppose. And so so that is the controversy, but they're working on it. They're working on it.
Now, when you played on this court, did you play or did you just look at it? Is it can you rent it? Did you play a game? What happened?
Yeah, so it's on private property. The family still owns that property, but and to be honest, so again, this was 1965. So if folks go to billontheroad.com, just type in pickleball in the search bar, and you'll see a story that I did where you see photos of the court. So there's tree roots growing underneath it. Other than nostalgia, you can't really play a serious game of pickleball on this court. It's just kind of cool to see where it all started. And the other thing that's neat, there's a really Bainbridge Island is beautiful, really cool main street, great restaurants, just a neat place. And they have a really cool local history museum. And in the museum, they saved, the original pickleball paddles. So it's kind of cool, especially, again, if you're a player and you've gone to Dick's Sporting Goods or wherever you buy sporting goods stuff. You see now there's 200 different types of paddles you can buy. Well, it's pretty neat to see the original ones. Like, it was just hard, heavy plywood that people used back in the day. And so they have some of those at the museum, which is kind of cool.
So who were some of the famed pickleball players outside of Bill Cleveland? I mean, who's the Babe Ruth or the Lou Gehrig of pickleball?
I'm probably not the best person to ask, because I will be completely honest with you. I think it is incredibly boring to watch somebody else play pickleball. And I have friends that love it. Oh, they watch it on TV, or they'll go to, there's going to be one in the St. Louis area, and this is not meant to disparage anybody, but in the St. Louis area and throughout the Midwest, they do these professional pickleball events, and they bring in the pro players to play, and people buy tickets, and I think, why? I cannot. It is so boring to me to sit and watch somebody else play pickleball. But those who do would say probably there's a gentleman named Ben Johns who's very well known. There's a girl, I can't think of her name. She started playing with her mother. Somebody listening will know the name of this gal. She's incredibly talented, and it is amazing to watch her play. But she's very young. I mean, she's like 19 or something, like maybe 20, and she's been playing since she was, like a teenager. And she's getting, sports deals and things like that. But between you and me and everybody listening, I don't know. Is there a Michael Jackson of pickleball? No, there's nobody that famous in pickleball.
You mean Michael Jordan? That's who you mean, Michael Jackson.
Well, I really did mean Michael Jackson, but Michael Jordan makes more sense.
Okay. So lastly, Bill Cleveland, Bill on the road.
Yes,
this story, Charlie Kirk's longtime mentor, this guy Jeff Webb, 76 years old, recently died while playing pickleball. You have to start wearing helmets now?
Well, so I wear eye protection. Always wear eye protection. Had an optometrist tell me that. Always wear eye. And I did badminton as well. Look, here's the deal. I have a friend of mine. She's a chiropractor. Shout out. Her name, no joke, is Anna Bone, Bone. She's a chiropractor. She told me not too long ago. She said she is seeing more and more and more people come in from injuries from pickleball into her clinic. And I think that's all over the country. So, come on, people, stretch out a little bit.
This guy was going back for a ball, fell over and hit his head and died. So, I mean, might not be a bad idea to wear a helmet.
I don't know if I'd wear a helmet, but that is one of the things. Like you'll make fun of me for this, but I actually used to teach pickleball, and just kind of the rules and at a local park. And one of the first things that I would always tell people is you cannot run backwards for a ball. It is never going to end well for you. And so there's a little strategy and other ways you can do it, but yeah, it's dangerous if you do that.
Bill on the
I'm
road.
surprised you don't play. I'm surprised you don't play.
With so many things going on, I got a 5-year-old. I can't be playing pickleball. I got about a minute left. Any book signings with your presidential road trip book?
I will be in Columbia, Missouri, coming up next week, as well as Jefferson City, Missouri, the capital, on Tuesday and Wednesday of this coming week. So if you got any listeners that are in Jeff City or Columbia, just go to BillOnTheRoad.com, click on Book Tour, and you can get all the particulars there.
There you go. Bill on the road. Bill Cleveland every Thursday night. You know what? You made up for not being on last week. I appreciate that. Good stuff.
Maybe I'll take next week off, too.
Oh, there you go. Bill on the road. BillOnTheRoad.com. Bill Cleveland, thanks for checking in. Be safe, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, sounds good. See you.
You got it. Bill on the road. Pickleball. Who knew? America at Night. Back in a moment.
From the heart of America, this is America at Night with McGraw Millhaven.